A lovely Monday morning, and once again, we welcome you to Nigerian Decides live studios of independent television as part of our countdown to the 2023 election. Just about 6 days away, counting from today. This Saturday, I mean, it's one day we've all been looking forward to. In the last 4 years, the plans and preparations have been on. And in the last couple of days, there have been a couple of issues that have been quite interesting, let me put it that way. But we are hoping and praying that ultimately all things will go well. This election will come and go, and there will be peace. The winner that God has destined for this country will emerge to right the wrongs of the past and indeed put Nigeria on the trajectory of peace, progress, and development. My name is Sonny Duke Okoso. I'm not alone on the studio program for today. My colleague is here, Egosa Agbalaho. Egosa, good morning.
Good morning. It's always a delight to be with you, especially because this program is special. Special in the sense that it is Nigerian Decides countdown to the 2023 general elections. Just 5 days precisely to the conduct of the 2023 general election on Saturday. And it's so delightful that the umpire, INEC, has reassured the voters, reassured citizens, reassured the international community, especially Nigerians in the diaspora, that this election will not be postponed and that modalities have been perfected to conduct the election. So, Nigerians are waiting. My name is Egosa Agbalaho. It promises to be another exciting program today.
Yes, as you said, there's actually 5 days to the election.
Yes.
Counting from today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then, of course, Friday. And then, voila, the election is here. The big question is, have you gotten your PVC ready? Irrespective of how you feel about the state of the nation, about the state of affairs, how things are today, whether you're hungry, whether you're angry, whatever it is, there is just one way you can make a statement, a bold statement, a courageous statement to express your feelings about the state of affairs. It's through the ballot, and that's through your PVC. So we hope that you've gotten your PVC, and then you put the structures in place to go to your voting centers. Usually, like we've seen over the years, people need to travel. Some need to travel back home. A lot of people do that. That will take place maybe either 24 hours or 48 hours to the election. They go back home to cast their vote. They go back home with their families to cast their vote. But this year is quite peculiar and very special indeed because of the challenges of the cash scarcity and then the challenges of the fuel scarcity. Ipman had threatened to go on strike today. That really would have been a huge challenge. As a matter of fact, compound the problem of Edo people, as it were. Yeah. But I heard yesterday they had a meeting. They've decided to call off the strike or suspend the strike, as it were. That's such a big relief.
Well, we must commend the marketers, the dealers, petrol marketers, under different umbrella. I was told that the major marketers, they are having problem now sourcing for petrol. Okay. I don't want to mention the name of the particular petrol station where I was given that information. Yeah. But the independent marketers, they've been selling, though above the federal government
pump price, regulated
price, you know. But at least citizens can buy petrol now, though not in a convenient way because of the price. Yeah. But I must again commend INEC because INEC, for the first time, they've enjoyed the support of citizens. They've enjoyed accolades from Nigerians. Nigerians have commended INEC for being truthful, for being steadfast, and for exhibiting patriotism and commitment to the conduct of this general election, because it is very pivotal to the development of Nigeria. Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari has informed Nigerians that, yes, from on the 25th, he expects a president-elect. Now, for the #1 citizen to do that, it means it is part of the commitment to that process, to ensuring a free, fair, and credible election. INEC has said no extension to collection of PVC. So if you didn't collect your PVC, that's not good enough. But by the electoral law, there are provisions. It is expected that your polling unit should be close to where you live so that you can easily, without the use of vehicles, you know, just trek to your polling units and cast your vote. And so many persons were allowed to do transfers of their PVCs to their present location. It is part of the arrangement to make it the process easy and credible. So if you need to travel, make your arrangements. You still have time. 5 days to the conduct of the election. You need to make arrangements so that you can travel on time and to enable your polling unit to be close to you. Well, Sonny, I must say something here, that INEC has no choice. So that's the reason I'm commending them. They know that this election must go ahead. Because there's some kind of tension in the land. You recall the recent protest. It was very violent. Nobody expected that some citizens in Benin City, some residents in Benin City will make an attempt to attack CBN. It has never happened. When you have violent riots or violent protests, yes, there could be destruction of public infrastructure, but you hardly see a situation where protesters will want to attack the CBN, the Apex Bank of the land. It happened recently. That's to tell you of the discontent. That's to tell you that so many Nigerians are not happy. The youths are angry. So INEC is aware. The election must go ahead. Let Nigerians go to the various polling units across the country and cast their vote and wait for the results. By doing that, I think names will be counted.
Absolutely, absolutely. INEC, the onus is on INEC to live up to the expectation of Nigerians. And I believe strongly that they've given their words and some of the innovations that have been brought to bear in the conduct of the election has given us some fillip to believe that, yes, indeed, INEC is ready to do things differently, particularly with the introduction of the BVAS machine. So we're hoping that across the Federation, things will be done differently in terms of the conduct of the election and in terms of other indices, other indicators as it relates to the conduct of an election of this magnitude. Don't forget, the attention of the whole world is on Nigeria. And that's because Nigeria remains the most populous black nation in the world and such a pivotal country when it comes to the dynamics of governance and policies within the African continent and across the world. So we hope that we'll get it right. One major thorny issue that has been there is the issue of the Naira swap deal. That seems to be a thorny issue because there are reactions and counter-reactions. And it hinged on the fact that there is a Supreme Court judgment which in the minds and hearts of many people has not been obeyed. Perhaps the Supreme Court, I mean the government of the day, they have a reason for not doing that. But how all of this will pan out in the election and post-election is something that we'll keep our fingers crossed. But it is certain that 2023 election is going to hold on the 25th of February, this Saturday, and then we'll have on the 11th of March for the governorship and State House of Assembly election. Two major elections back to back. And it is always the case, the politicians, the political parties, candidates, they'll be going all around, reaching out to the electorate to conscientize them, to educate them, to woo them, to inform them, to impress upon them that they are the best choice for them. The choice is theirs, and that opportunity to make that difference will come on Saturday at the election proper. And so this is the focus of our discussion today. The 2023 election, party manifestos, and the electorate. Like they always say, you know, before the election, the political parties have power. They decide who they want to bring forth as their candidate for the election. After that is done, the onus is now on the electorate. So right now, the electorates are the kingmakers because we have two phases. The primaries is gone, done and dusted, and now we'll have the election proper, where the electorate truly are the kingmakers, and they'll make that decision on Saturday.
Yeah, I want to agree with you that the voters, the electorates, they're actually the kingmakers. But let's just look at some trending news. Because of this election, yes, we have accurate news reportage. We also have fake news. And the news that was trending yesterday was that the EFCC had raided the residence of one of the presidential candidates. And that information actually was very disturbing, because the news that we got was that EFCC discovered about 800 billion naira of the new currency introduced by the CBN. But that news was quickly refuted. Same yesterday, that there was nothing like that. So we want to believe that it's fake news. But the electorates are the kingmakers, and they are ready to listen. They are ready to monitor the process. They are ready to get information on what is happening. Because if you adhere to the policy of the CBN, we are being convinced by the federal government that that policy is to curb corruption, to curb money laundering, to tackle insecurity, because there's been palpable fear that insecurity in Nigeria might truncate the electoral process. Now, the federal government has convinced citizens now that the introduction of the new Naira notes is strategic to tackle insecurity. And so many Nigerians have believed that policy already. They believe that, yes, insecurity, gradually, there seems to be improvement, though we need to have statistics to actually monitor that. Okay, so let's come to the issue of manifestos now. There is a school of thought of the belief that all political parties
in Nigeria
seem not to have manifestos, but rather it's just a congregation of persons who want to grab power.
Absolutely.
So when you talk about manifestos, some Nigerians will say, what are you talking about? Which manifestos? Party B, Party A will tell you, we'll do this, we'll do that. If you look at it, it's similar. Then, if Nigerians, just like it is in the advanced world, in developed countries, if they actually have party manifestos, if they have ideologies that they are committed to, then the defection that we witness almost every minute,
every now and then,
wouldn't have happened. Some persons in the UK will tell you, oh, I belong to the Labour Party. I belong to this. In the US, I belong to this. I belong to that. They remain. Sometimes this particular party wins the election, the others remain in opposition, and they start strategizing
for
how
the
they
next
can
election.
Win the next election. But in Nigeria, if Sonny Duke is in a particular party and the party doesn't win, Sonny, you start thinking of the next
party. No, I won't think of the next one because I will stay faithful to the cause.
Okay, you stay faithful. But most Nigerians, they always defect. And it is celebrated. Now, you see a particular politician ahead of this election. We'll be monitoring the process.
In fact, some of the political parties and their candidates is part of the grounds for celebration. That I'm contesting for this position, and then in the course of my campaigns, I'm able to woo some electorates from this political party to my party. It becomes a ground for celebration.
Sometimes exaggerated.
Yes,
tell you,
yes.
Hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
Over 2,000.
Of a particular party has joined me, has joined my party, has defended to my party. It's been celebrated.
Yes.
This ought not to be.
It shouldn't be.
If there are party manifestos, if there are ideologies, stick to them.
And it's part of the problem where you have a situation wherein a party comes in. It is the person who won the election that really drives the government. Such a person brings his own plans, his dreams, his aspiration, his vision. There is no harmony between what the person is doing and what the party has in mind. Because like you've identified, there's no such thing as manifesto. And that's why it's very easy for candidates or politicians to cross carpet, to defect. Today they are in A. In fact, there are some political parties, there are some candidates that have literally gone around all the major political parties
in the country.
At one stage, they are here, they are there like that, you know, and then you always see them coming back home. And so I'm wondering, where exactly is the home? If you're in A and you went to B, and a few years back, you come back to A, you say you're coming back home. And then a few years back, you go back to B. So where is the home?
Sonny, that gave birth to what they term as stomach infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Because of these frequency in defections.
Absolutely.
So, stomach infrastructure is another word coined by Nigerians that, some of these politicians, they are just interested, they have self-interest. It's not about the country. It's not about the citizens. It's just about themselves. Stomach infrastructure, what they can get for themselves. And that is the undoing of Nigeria as a country. It is believed that Nigeria can be catapulted to very, very enviable heights if we have politicians who are patriotic, if we have politicians who stick to the ideologies of their party manifestos, committed to it, instead of thinking of their stomach, thinking about themselves, thinking about their family. Because some persons now see politics as a business, that once you win an elective position, it's your turn. It's your turn to enrich yourself. It's your turn to enrich your family members.
Your friends, your cronies,
So the underpinning of that is that we must have a change of our mindset. The way we think in this country must change. Now, I must commend a clergyman who recently in a broadcast said that if the blacks are taken to Germany and the Germans are brought to Africa or brought to Nigeria, after some time, the blacks in Germany will be seeking for visa to come to Nigeria or to come to Africa. So it's not about the country, it's about the people.
The mindset.
The mindset. In my elementary studies in the university, it was said that any organization can strive, any country can do well if you have good managers. That stuck to me. That stuck to me. The reason why Nigeria is in the doldrum is because Nigeria lacks good managers. So this election, I re-emphasize, is a defining moment in this country. Don't think about your stomach. Don't think about self-interest. Think about the bigger picture. Think about the development of this country. Nigeria needs to be developed. Nigeria needs to be improved. Nigeria needs to occupy its enviable position in the Committee of Nations, and voting in credible leaders, leaders of integrity, patriotic leaders will actually ensure that. Good managers will bring to bear. Good managers will bring to bear their expertise, their knowledge, and put aside self-interest just for the development of that company, development of that country. Yes, it's very important.
No, it's key because that has been one major point of emphasis in every conversation globally, that when you have the right leadership in place, half of the problem of the country is solved, particularly Nigeria. I mean, that has been the major bane of development. Credible leadership, a leadership that understands the times that we are in now understands where we are coming from, and then knows where we are going. Unfortunately, we've not been blessed with such leaders. And even when such leaders come, they really have limited time for us to exploit and explore what they have to offer, either because of age, because of ill health, and other natural forces. But we hope this time around we can get it right. Now, we're going to look at something much later in the course of the program. It has to do with fake news. A friend of mine, a colleague of mine, did something on it. He called it deep fakes. I mean, some research that he did on it. And it's quite mind-blowing how people, the extent people can go these days to purvey fake news. And if you're not careful, it becomes the real deal, hoodwinking and deceiving members of the populace. Because again, many of them don't even have the capacity to distinguish which is which. But I like what many organizations are doing now. They are very spontaneous and prompt in responding to these issues. We'll talk about that in the course of the program. But for now, we'll take a short break. Nigerian Decides Live Studios will continue in a moment. Don't go away.